Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life: family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive. Today we are going to continue our discussion on reading. During the last show, we talked about how reading affects people in their daily life, how reading affects people that commit crimes, and how reading affects people experiencing a social upheaval. Now you need to decide how reading is going to affect you. How is reading going to affect your life and the lives of your children? The first question that needs to be answered is, can you read? If you can read, how often do you read and what do you read? If you can read and all you read are magazines in the doctor's office or an occasional comic book, then you're cheating yourself. You're missing out on life. Now, there are several reasons, why people do not read. Some of the reasons are people feel that books are too expensive. People feel that I don't have time. People say I don't know what to read. People say, why can't I just watch a movie? Reading keeps me up at night. Reading is too hard. Let us examine three of the reasons why people say that they do not read. We're going to look at the statement, reading is too hard, I don't have time to read, and books are too expensive. True, reading isn't always easy, but it doesn't have to be hard either. Try not to be intimidated when you read. People read books for many reasons, but you don't have to feel that it is an academic experience if you do not want it to be. Reading can be entertainment. It is one of the best reasons for reading. You can pick up a book and have an unforgettable experience. You can laugh, cry, sit on the edge of your seat. Another reason reading is hard to you is because you need to enlarge your vocabulary. You need to purchase a dictionary and a thesaurus and look up words that you are not familiar with when you are reading. Then you should incorporate these words in your everyday speech. Expand your vocabulary by associating with people who speak well. Stop being afraid of educated people. If you talk to educated people, some of that education may rub off on you. Now to the person who says, I don't have time. Think, you just don't have time to pick up a classic, take a book with you everywhere, and instead of picking up your cell phone to talk to someone, why not open up a book? You can read while standing in line in a waiting room or doing a train commute. If longer works seems overwhelming, start with shorter stories or poetry. It's all about feeding your mind, even if it's only one bit at a time. This excuse really means you are cheating yourself. It is true, once in history, owning a book was once considered a luxury. These days, there are numerous sources for inexpensive literature. The internet has opened a whole new arena for readers. Literature, both old and new, is available on your handheld devices for free or deeply discounted prices. Of course, the most time honored method for getting access to books of pretty much every description at little or no cost is your public library. You can pick and choose without having to purchase. You can borrow the books and read them at home or read them on the premises or at your job. And with the exception of a late fee or damage, reading from a library is usually free. The bargain section of your local bookstore is another place to find reasonably priced books. Some places do not mind if you read while you're sitting in the store in one of their comfortable chairs. Another great resource for inexpensive books is your local used bookstore. You can buy books cheaper, used than new, and you can also trade in books you've already read or books you know you'll never get around to reading. Some of the major discount retail chains have book sections that sell remain books on the cheap. Now I want you to think back to a problem you had once that you could not solve for yourself. You had to go to someone else for help. The reason why you had to go to someone else for help is because you did not have enough information to solve your own problem. You did not know enough. Maybe it's because you failed to read. Now we shall discuss why you should read. Reading exposes you to so many different things. This helps your imagination when it comes to creating and thinking. By reading, you are painting pictures of the story in your mind. Books can take you anywhere you want to go. When you are reading, you are focusing and concentrating on one thing. By sitting still and reading, you are training your body and mind to slow down, to relax, and to focus on what you are reading. This helps you to focus and concentrate on other activities because you are used to doing this. When you read a book, you are taking in all that the book is about: people, places, and things. When you read, you are using your memory muscle. This is the cerebrum part of the brain. Using this part of your brain helps your memory long term. Reading is the best, cheapest form of entertainment that you can do. Love your library and any bookseller because these books can open up your mind to a world that you've never imagined. Your language skills and literacy were developed when your parents read to you or talked to you. So you know that if you read to your children and the more that you talk to your children, this will help develop their language skills. Reading a book for something that you want to learn about saves you so much money. We all know how expensive it is to take classes at college. So why not spend time reading about what you are interested in? You can teach yourself from specific books. When you read, you develop fluency. Fluency is defined as the ability to read with speed, accuracy, and expression. Powerful and effective language. The more you read, the more fluent you become. It has been proven that reading makes you smarter. Readers display greater knowledge of how things work, vocabulary and language development, as well as information on people, places, and things. Now, there are benefits to reading. Reading stimulates you mentally. Studies have shown that staying mentally stimulated can slow the progress of Alzheimer and dementia, since keeping your brain active and engaged prevents you from losing this power. Just like any other muscle in your body, the brain requires exercise to keep it strong and healthy. So the phrase use it or lose it is particularly apt when it comes to your mind. Doing puzzles and playing games such as chess has been found to be helpful with cognitive stimulation. When you read and lose yourself in a book, you will reduce your stress. No matter how much stress you have at work, in your personal relationships, or countless other issues faced in daily life, it all will slip away when you lose your mind, lose yourself in a great book. A well written novel can transport you to other realms, other places, while an engaging article will distract you and keep you in the present moment, letting tension drain away and allowing you to relax. When you read, you gain knowledge. Everything you read fills your head with new bits of information, and you never know when it might come in handy. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to tackle any challenges that you'll face. You can also expand your vocabulary by reading. The more you read, the more words you are exposed to, and they will inevitably make their way into your everyday vocabulary. Being articulate and well spoken is a great help in any profession, and knowing that you can speak to a higher up with self confidence can be an enormous boost to your self esteem. Speaking well can aid you in your career, as those who are well read, well spoken, and knowledgeable on a variety of topics tend to get promoted more quickly and more often than those with a smaller vocabulary and lack of awareness of literature, scientific breakthroughs, and global events. Reading books is vital for learning a new language. As a non native speaker, you gain exposure to words used in context, which will help you develop fluency. Also, you need to realize that reading will improve your memory. It will help you develop a stronger analytical thinking skill. Reading will also help improve your focus and concentration. Furthermore, your reading skills will improve. You will feel more at peace with yourself. Reading a book is the biggest change you will ever make in your life. One word or one experience from a book can spark an idea that can lead to wealth and happiness. Take time out from your busy day and read a book. Make one of the books you read the Holy Bible. Reading is important because it develops the mind. Understanding the written word is one way the mind grows in its ability. Teaching your children to read helps them develop their language skills. It also helps them to gain more confidence. Reading is important because it develops our thoughts, gives us endless knowledge and lessons to read while keeping our minds active. Reading books can help us learn, understand, and it can make us smarter. Not to mention the knowledge, vocabulary expansion, and thinking skills we develop. So read, read, read. Setting a purpose for reading will help keep you focused and engaged while reading. And it will give you a mission so that comprehension can be reinforced. Reading with a purpose motivates you and your children. Take the three books: The Devil's Whispers, If You Believe in God, You Don't Belong in Prison, and The Devil's Cauldron. Reading these books will change your life. You can go to the website touchedbythelight.us and read the first chapter of each of these books. Now, we will give you a preview of how these books can change your life. Now, here are some excuses that people use for not reading. One, lots of people say, I don't have the time. Say books are too expensive. I don't know what to read. People say reading keeps me up at night. Can't I just watch the movie? Reading is too hard. Never got in the habit of reading. Well, let's discuss these excuses. If you say you don't have the time to read, what you can do is start carrying a book around with you so when the opportunity occurs, you can pick up that book and read it on your lunch hour, while you're riding the bus to work, while you're waiting to pick up your child from school. It does not have to be overwhelming. You just need to select specific times to read. This excuse of books being too expensive is outrageous because if you can't purchase a book, you can surely go to a library and check a book out to read. So that's just an excuse to say books are too expensive. There's a lot of reading material on the internet. There are people that publish articles that you can read. Talk to a librarian and she can tell you some reasonably priced books that you can purchase. Also, you can purchase used books at a used bookstore. You can always look for discounts on books. The excuse that books are too expensive is just that, an excuse. Here's one: I don't know what book to read. Well, the answer to this is just start reading. Read whatever book comes your way. Finally decide what types of books that you like to read. But if you are an experienced reader, you know that there's lots of different genres out there to read that will give you information that you've never considered. You can't just selectively read one type of book like, okay, I like mysteries. Well, there are other geography books to read. There's photography books to read. There are all types of books that will enhance your knowledge of life. You are limiting the knowledge that you can assess by just liking one particular type of book to read. Seriously, you need to broaden your reading experience. You can read books about how to build a house. You can read books about wiring a house. You can read books about pouring cement. This is enhancing your knowledge. As far as books keeping you up at night, the thing to do with this, if this is keeping you awake, is not to read at night. You need to find another time to read. So that way, that if the book is interesting, you do not read it late into the night and then you have a hard time getting up in the morning to go to work. It happens to lots of people. You can start reading the book and the book is so interesting that you read throughout the night. I had a friend that did that. She was reading the book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life. She started reading that book and she read it throughout the night, and the next morning is when she finished it. She said she could not put the book down. Well, I understand this. Reading can keep you up at night. And telling yourself that I'd rather just watch the movie, that's not really good because you miss a lot of the drama by reading the words that the writer has written for movies or a book. It's not just the idea that's conveyed by a book, it is also the wording that's used in the book. It's the way that the author writes that also affects you. So just watching a movie is not sufficient. Yes, you can watch Pride and Prejudice, but actually reading the book is much, much different. It's a whole new experience. Just like Dr. Zhivago, the same thing. Reading the book and watching the movie is two different experiences. Oh, if you tell yourself that reading is too hard, then we got a problem. And we need to correct this problem if you're telling yourself that reading is too hard for you. Part of the problem when people say that reading is too hard is that their vocabulary is limited. You may have to start reading with a dictionary next to you. Also, you may need to start exercising to expand your vocabulary. Just start selecting words from the dictionary and using these words in everyday speech and everyday sentences until you build your vocabulary. Reading isn't always easy, but it does not have to be hard. Try not to be intimidated by books. People who read books for many reasons. Read the book for enjoyment, not as an academic experience. So when you sit down with a book, you're preparing yourself to be entertained. You can pick up a book and be entertained, you can really enjoy that book. That book can make you laugh, cry, it can make you sit on the edge of your seat. There are classics that can be difficult to read. There's the book Robinson Crusoe, book Governor's Travels. Books can be difficult to read. Part of the problem is that they were written long ago. Some authors are difficult to read, like James Baldwin. John Steinbeck, his Grace of Wrath is a very difficult read, but it can, once you read the book, you have been satisfied. He teaches a lot on sociology in his books, John Steinbeck. You want to do is overcome your negativity toward books. So rather than biting off something too big to chew, start with smaller, less involved books. And on the way, you need to start building your vocabulary. Here's another thing that people tell themselves. Oh, I just never got in the habit of reading. Well, you need to. You need to make reading a habit. You need to make it a point to select literature on a regular basis, and you need to read. You need to make a commitment to reading. You need to get in the habit of reading. Once you get started, try reading for longer periods with a greater frequency. Even if you do not enjoy reading for yourself, read a story to your child. That can really create a bond between you and your child. You'd be surprised what conversations you can have with your children based on reading. You'll be giving your children a great gift which will prepare them for school, which can prepare them for life, which will help them learn how to read. And plus, it is a bonding experience. Your children will likely remember your reading to them for the rest of their lives. Reading to your child is quality time. Reading can become a social experience. You can have conversations with your coworkers based on short stories that you've read or stories from people from a book club. Also, you can go out to a dinner engagement and meet people and discuss books. Book discussions is an easy way of making friends. And you need to consider joining a book club. That's not going to hurt you. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now,
Touched by the Light Publishing is a leader in the world of books. We create meaningful moments for our readers by producing inspirational books to inspire people to go beyond what they have imagined for themselves and to go beyond what other people have prophesied into their lives. We believe men and women should dream. It is dreams that carry all of us into the future. When you stop dreaming, you have given up on life and the possibilities of what change can bring. You should visit touchedbythelight.us and learn what our books have to offer. Please watch our video on YouTube at Touched by the Light Publishing for the many ways we can help the community. We can be reached at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
At what point did you think this was going to be easy? At what point did you think this was going to be handed to you? This is life. Every moment, every second, as precious as the next. I don't care if you've lost. I don't care if you failed. I don't care if you've hit bottom. As long as that hunger still lies inside, as long as that light still flickers, you fight. We fight for the people that believe in us. We fight for the moments, we fight for the seconds. We fight for the pride. We fight for the dreams. We fight. We always fight. Oftentimes, we talk so much about the success of something that we don't highlight how important failure can be. Failure is what gives us those real life lessons. And until you've experienced that, you can't truly understand what success means. Because through failure, we begin to understand who we are, what we're made of, what we're willing to do to become successful. Failure is only an event. It does not define you. All it does is create new opportunities for you to succeed. Once one door closes, more will open. But you need to believe that. You need to live life now. Risk everything for your dreams. No matter what the results are, trust in yourself that you will find a way to become successful. In this life, we do not fear failure. We embrace the opportunities that come from it. Think about everything that has been created in this world. If people would have given up after one failure, what would we have? We would literally have nothing. We do not fear failure. We grow from it, we learn from it, and we move on.
The dictionary defines a prophet as a person regarded as an inspired teacher, one who proclaims the will of God. Now, as a person, have you asked yourself what inspires you? Where does your inspiration come from, and what do you proclaim over your life? There are lots of misconceptions about what destiny is. But you need to know that you're the one who decides what your destiny would be. If a man, for instance, goes out with a table knife and stabs another man deliberately, he has proclaimed prison sentence upon himself. It's that simple. Our destiny evolves every day because of the choices we make. And that is why, as the prophet of your life, you can choose to draw inspiration from the Word of God, teach yourself godly values, proclaim good things over your life, and work towards the achievement you desire. You are where you are today because of the choices you made yesterday, and if you want your situation to change, you must start making decisions based on where you want to be or what you want to achieve. Remember also, that life is not fair to anyone. It doesn't give you what you deserve but what you desire. So it is important to work towards your desires every time, irrespective of the situation around you. Do not let anything limit you. Stand up for yourself and be the man you have always wanted to be.
Reading is an activity like none other. The consequences of reading are extraordinary, just as the consequences of not reading are extraordinary, where you will live your life in darkness. You can sit before an orchestra where the music will thrill you to passion, and for a while you will soar. You can turn the radio on in your car and the music will carry you away, but there is nothing like reading. Reading will not only transport you to another place and time, reading will change the circumstances of your life forever. Reading will carry you to the future, where you will see possibilities, and reading will send you to visit the past, where you will see potential. Music provides a temporary high for your relief from your surroundings, whereas reading can lead you to a permanent relief from everything around you. Reading can change your reality, transforming you into a new person. You can read one paragraph and say, "Why not?" or "Of course." You can read one book and say, "I never thought of that," and read a second book and say, "If only I had known this before." You can see one word on the page and say to yourself, "That can be me. I have possibilities in my life." Once you begin reading in earnest, you will realize that you can learn equally from reading about how a man failed in his life, just as you can learn about how a man succeeded in his life. In fact, learning how a person failed is a good roadmap for success, because failure always provides you with an alternative point of view. Think of the man who decided to construct the street light, or to design the fire hydrant, or to design the light bulb. Where did these ideas come from? What was the source of their inspiration? One source for these inventions was reading. Reading allows for the accumulation of information. When this information is assimilated in the human brain, an idea is born. One invention sparks another invention that sparks another great idea until finally man is raised to an enhanced state of existence. Reading provides the recipe for originality. A man says to himself, "There must be a better way." He goes to the library trying to find that better way. He reads and reads and reads, assimilating information, looking for that better way. If he does not find that better way in the books he has read, he has still learned something. He has learned that he has to invent the better way. This time he begins to read books looking for ideas to help him as he invents.
Okay, we're going to discuss how to stay motivated by self encouragement. The word encouragement comes from the Latin word cor, which means heart. It is defined as giving courage, hope, or confidence. Having courage means to be able to cast aside your fears and be brave. The simplest way to be fearless and to be brave is to listen to your heart and follow its guidance. One must be able to encourage themselves in order to achieve success. Here's how you can stay motivated with the power of self encouragement. At least once a week, do something that you're passionate about. This keeps you stimulated. Do something that you can enjoy and that you're passionate about and fulfilling. It makes you feel great about yourself and it pushes you toward a happier life. It is the feelings of achieving goals that make them so fulfilling. The most important part of establishing a foundation of self encouragement is to focus your attention on the feeling that comes with achieving your goal and living the life that you want. There is no reason to do something that doesn't compel you to do it. If you have to force yourself to do something, it probably isn't right for you. You should know instinctively whether or not something is right for you based on the way that it makes you feel. Because you can set a goal or embark on a new activity, you should ask yourself a few questions. Why do you want to achieve this particular goal? What are the underlying feelings that it will give you? What does it mean to you? Is the feelings enough to compel you to stay motivated? Acknowledgement. It is important part of encouraging and motivating yourself is to take a step back and acknowledge your progress. Take the time to recognize your achievements. We so often get caught up in what we haven't done that we forget the things that we have done and we lose focus on what really matters. If you are having trouble seeing personal progress and staying motivated, write out a list of all things that you have achieved. This list should give you a fresh perspective on your life and the progress that you have made toward your goals. This list will help you tweak yourself. One of the best ways to acknowledge yourself would be to give yourself a reward when you reach a significant goal. Rewarding yourself will build confidence and motivation. Make sure to celebrate when you reach your goals. You have earned it after all. Rewards also help to provide closure to the energy that was created when reaching the goal. If you don't take time to acknowledge yourself for having completed a goal, it becomes unfinished business. Even though you reach the goal, there will be some energy left behind and you will feel that you aren't doing everything that you can. Put together some rewards you can give yourself for reaching your goal. The rewards can be tangible things such as having dinner with friends, getting some new clothes, pampering yourself at a day spa, or just having a short holiday. It could also be an intangible reward such as the great feelings that come with this achievement. You will notice that the feelings of achieving your goals are often the best possible reward there is for having done so. The feelings of the heightened self-belief and self-confidence and self-worth that comes with achieving a goal is actually priceless. You need to show yourself appreciation also. Another great way to encourage yourself is to show gratitude to the things that you've gotten in your life already. Sometimes we can get caught up in all the things that we don't have or don't want to have in our lives. It takes time and focus away from all the good and positive things that we have or have done. If you aren't able to find some positive things about yourself, then it is recommended that you keep a pad and pencil by your bed at night. Dale Carnegie did this. Each night before going to bed, write down what happened to you that day and what you are grateful for. You'll soon have developed an entirely different perspective on not just yourself, but also your life and the people and things that are in your life. Everyone needs a support group. Identifying the important people in your life that you can share your vision for your ideal life with and asking them to support and encourage you on the journey is an excellent way to encourage yourself. Why not have everyone join together and support one another to create better lives together? You can even get together and discuss what you want, how you plan on achieving it, and the steps that you have taken to do just that. This way you can encourage each other and get support while still keeping each other accountable and ensuring everyone makes progress. By following just one or two of these above suggestions, you'll soon build a strong foundation of self-motivation that you can use to achieve your goal faster and easier. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now,
Change your life by listening to the Women of Courage show on WHPR 88.1 FM every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. We can be reached at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
Life is at its best when you get to the mountaintop. Nevertheless, at times we lose our way and land in the valley. Adversity comes and shakes us in fear. What do you do at such a time? Where do you get your strength when it's gone? Be Not Defeated in Hard Times is the book you need to overcome such fears and gain back your strength. It's cheap, $10.95 only. To purchase this book, log into touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications before it's out of stock.
hi there. Are you finding it difficult to overcome the challenges of life? Have you asked yourself why certain unknown operations around your life cause you to fail, for you to hurt yourself and others? Do you know that we fight unknown spiritual and physical battles daily, and you may be fighting the wrong enemy without knowing it? Are you ready to reach the extraordinary and discover who your real enemy is? If your answer is yes, then you are on your path to victory. Know Your Enemy is a book written by Gloria Lee, a great communicator who offers the best effective solutions to differentiate your enemy from a third voice. This book will show you how to take stock of your life and who is in charge of your life. It will help you draw from your greatest disappointments the wisdom and strength you need to channel your thoughts to be a better person. Know Your Enemy was written to help children of life building skills and productive thinking, help mothers to train their children, and to give exceptional insight to adults on how to respond to situations in a healthy manner without having emotional judgments on themselves. If you desire to change and fulfill your life's focus and purpose, then you need to read the book Know Your Enemy that will educate and develop you. The book can be found at the website touchedbythelight.us. You can read a copy of the first chapter. I am going to repeat some information that we discussed earlier, I think in our fifth session. This is very important. You must have some information about yourself in order to change. You must have an idea of your self-image. You must have an idea of your self-esteem, whether you have what we would consider a normal self-esteem or low self-esteem. This is very important if you're going to attempt a change. If you are not satisfied with the person who you are, then you must change that person. But in order to change that person, you need tools. Today I want to discuss the book Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. I'm introducing this book to you because I want you to realize how much you can learn about your life and the lives of others by reading. It's important that you read. Please, please start reading because reading can truly change your life. This book talks to you about fighting, standing up for yourself, believing in yourself, and changing your life. When you are faced with adversity, every human being is called upon to stand up. This book is designed to give you the strength to do just that. One of our pocket-sized devotionals. With this book at your side, you can reach for encouragement, refreshment, and the strength to fight life's battles. You do not have to stick your head in the sand. You can stand up. We want to remind you that you can win at life. Life is a joyful experience that is supposed to be filled with happiness and at God's helm. This book will help you to stay mindful of your responsibilities to God and yourself. Your family will benefit from your diligence. Before you begin to read the book, Be Not Defeated in Hard Times, please read Isaiah 65, verse 24 several times. Now read the verse Jeremiah 33, verse 3. Read that several times. Now, God said in Isaiah 65:24, and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I shall hear. Firmly implant this verse in your mind so that every time you think of praying, you will say this to yourself: God is going to hear me. God said, before I finish praying, he shall answer me. Yet here I want you to stop for a second. There is one rub in this passage that sends people reeling. You will be right in believing God will hear you, and he will answer your prayer. But he may not answer your prayer as to way that you wish. He may provide what he thinks is right for you, but you may not be in agreement. What you pray for may not be what you need. Therefore, when we do not receive what we have prayed for, we think that there is not a God or God doesn't care for us. You must understand that God can see further down the road than you. You may be praying to purchase your first Cadillac, but God knows one of your children will develop a life-threatening disease and you will need more money to hold your house together. So if you purchase a Cadillac, will you have to wait until the emergency blows over? Think about it. You will need that money if your child develops a life-threatening illness. Read Isaiah 65, verse 24 to yourself each day. This will keep you hopeful. It will give you courage to face the day. This passage tells you you can rely upon God. This passage is one of the most powerful verses in the Bible. It is the foundation of your relationship with God. He says, I shall answer you before you finish speaking. Man cannot perform this as well. Man has to consult his maps and charts before he can tell you about the weather. And man surely cannot tell you what will occur in the future. Count on God. That is correct. Count on God. Stop relying on the world to tell you what to do. Now consider this. In the 1960s, man told women that it was all right to shack up with a man. We will no longer judge you harshly. It is okay for you to have a baby and not be married. You can just stand on a mound of grass and pledge yourself to one another, and that will be fine. Well, what is the results of this promise? Devastation. We have 25 million children running around this country living without their fathers, and many of them have been turned into monsters. No, no, not one of these children is eligible for Social Security because they do not bear their father's name. Their father's name is absent from their birth certificate. The male children who have been abandoned are so filled with rage and anger that they are killing women at an escalated rate. There is a man sitting on death row in Tennessee, and he is an abomination to God. The sum total of his entire life merged into the destruction of two individuals who had never done him any harm. He murdered two strangers. How much anger he must have contained. I do not even know whether the word of God can help him. This man was sexually abused as a child, and he has not forgotten that abuse. In fact, the abuse is at the center of his thoughts every waking moment of his life. He saw two innocent people and unleashed his fury on the world. The world had destroyed his life with all its rules and regulations. Now he was going to destroy two innocent people. A murder like this also happened in Colorado, Texas, and California, where the sexually abused child responded to the world's rejection of him. Anytime society does not protect a child, that is rejection. Now, society can use its power to take a child from his mother, yet society does not use its power to protect that child from sexual abuse in the foster care system. The only thing our foster care system has done is accomplish the destruction of children. Why was there not work done to restore the family, correct what was broken, repair the broken psyche of the woman that was abandoned? No society should take a child from the bosom of their mother and let them be prey to sexual deviants who turn these children into alcoholics and dope addicts. Do you know there are women in this country with two sons on death row? The book goes on to discuss illicit drugs. It says illicit drugs use is associated with suicide, homicide, and motor vehicle injuries, HIV infection, pneumonia, violence, mental illness, and hepatitis. At least 3 million individuals in the United States have a serious drug problem. Several studies have reported an undercount of the number of deaths attributed to drugs by vital statistics. However, improved medical treatment has reduced mortalities from many diseases associated with the illegal drug use. In keeping with the report by McGuinness, we include deaths caused indirectly by illicit drug use in this category. We use attributable fractions to compute the number of deaths due to illicit drugs. Overall, we estimate that illicit drugs use results in approximately 17,000 deaths in 2000, a reduction of 3,000 deaths from the 1990 report. The man who killed the two innocent people in Tennessee, he could not have been raised by a father. If he was, then his father was a very foolish, stupid man. The man on death row in Tennessee was created into this state because a woman believed the promises of a man. You can shack up with a man and have a child without the benefit of marriage, and it would be okay by the world's standards. She believed this man's promise, and the results of that promise was having a son waiting on death row until he is executed for 2 counts of first-degree murder. If you can believe the promises of man, why can you not believe the promises of God? Believe this. God says, before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I shall hear. God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. In Isaiah 41:10, God said, do not fear and do not dismay. Do not lose courage or resolution or be alarmed. God said he will strengthen you and he will help you. God is not like man. He is not like man. He does not speak and make promises that he doesn't mean. If you are in trouble and you worry a lot, you need to read the book, Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. Go to the website, touchedbythelight.us, and read the first chapter of this book.
Life is at its best when you get to the mountaintop. Nevertheless, at times we lose our way and land in the valley. Adversity comes and shakes us in fear. What do you do at such a time? Where do you get your strength when it's gone? Be Not Defeated in Hard Times is the book you need to overcome such fears and gain back your strength. It's cheap, $10.95 only. To purchase this book, log into touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications before it's out of stock.
One of the most effective ways of getting ahead in life is by learning from the mistakes and successes of other people. This way, one can avoid the mistakes other people have made and possibly achieve success faster. This is one of the reasons why you cannot afford not to read the series Women of Courage. In this series of books, the lives and times of several women were chronicled who by sheer courage conquered the world around them. These women are examples of the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, when a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, which is the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find out that the beard comes off in his hand and that it was only tied on to scare away the timid adventurer. These are ordinary women like all of us, but they were determined to do extraordinary things. From the stories of their lives, you will learn how to stop making and living a mediocre life and start conquering your world and living on your own terms. For them, failure was not an option. Rather, it was an opportunity to refire and reach for their goals again. They have shown tremendous courage, so much that their lives could easily serve as a template for other women to emulate. Your primary starting point is believing in yourself and encouraging yourself even in the face of failure and naysayers. Thomas Edison failed numerous times, but he kept going. Finally, he won and invented the light bulb and other inventions. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln failed at politics many times. He even ran for dog catcher and lost, but he kept running for public office until he was elected president. One thing about the series Women of Courage, the books are not ordinary books. These books will challenge you, push you, and of course inspire you to gain your life again. Remember, A man is what he thinks about all day, so said Ralph Waldo Emerson. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you. This information can help you shape and change not only your life, but the lives of your children and spouse. Visit the website touchedbythelight.us and find yourself a book to read. For more information, you can email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Dear male listeners, our show may be called Women of Courage, but our name should not stop you from listening to our show. You have as much to learn and to consider as women. Why? Because many of you are fathers, sons, and brothers, and you need to understand those forces and situations that affect the female members of your family. So we do implore you to listen to our show with an ear for understanding. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.